If this is not saying a medically discharged person, right? Did 2 years, did 6 years, got out from a medical discharge. This is not them. This is medically retired, different circumstance. So over to you, Clay.
Yeah, and I want to paint a picture on what that actually looks like. And the VFW's National Legislative Director, his name is Patrick Murray. You can Google him. He's an amputee. He's in Iraq. He has one leg. That he was medically retired. That's when we talk about retirement, being medically retired. That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about you hurt your back and you have your pain so bad that you get discharged. Now that still sucks. Don't get me wrong, but there's a process for that, right? Medically retired is what we're talking about. And it's just insane that the Major Richard Starr Act got really pooped on. I mean, swiped away, kind of like, no, not really. And the VSOs tried on the House floor, the Senate floor, I want to say, and then under the NDAA, and it just turned down left and right. Okay, so it's not looking good, to be honest with you. But looking at being involved, I think that's a critical thing. And looking in the future, and I've always said this, that the OEF, OIF generation is the next Vietnam era, right? We have this declining Vietnam era population. We have this surge for OIF, OEF, and American support was at its height, 9/11. But that rapidly declined, 20 plus years into the same area, rightfully so. And so that's its own separate issue. But then we see a repeat of history going on right now, where you have this very small population in the Vietnam era saying, "Welcome home, thank you for your service," but the mass majority would almost spit on that service, right? That's the same feeling today. You get out of Vietnam era and you're in this Cold War type-esque world. That's where we're at right now. I think history is repeating itself, and you see the VA kind of do this shift. Now, thankfully, we have the PACT Act. And the PACT Act could have very well only been Agent Orange and called it a day, but they didn't. It was Gulf War vets and post 9/11. So that's good. We have that. And so it is automatically better for us. But if we don't get involved, you're going to see history repeat itself. And I think it's happened with the DBQ bill, right? We're watching history literally repeat itself. It's just insane. Those are my thoughts on that, Jason. When it comes to being involved, could I do better personally? Absolutely, I could. I think at a minimum, and although I'm not a huge fan of relying on VSOs to be your voice, but at a minimum, if you don't do anything, I think joining your national VSOs, right? Like your VFW, your DAVs, the American Legion, at a minimum, that's what veterans can do. If you receive compensation, you get a one-time lifetime membership. Call it a day. I think that is more than enough. Now, if you want to pick up the phone and start calling people, that'd be great. But at a minimum, I would say at least join a VSL.